Okay, so this is the Harrington's quarry logo question. Okay, for whoever was doing this one, this is the one with the 45-degree set square. What we're going to do first is just set up our horizontal baseline, just kind of up and in a random amount from the bottom of the page. So for example there, this is up 50 and in 50 millimeters. Okay, so up 50 and in 50 from the bottom corner. And we're told there that it is 180 millimeters long. So there's my 180 millimeters. Project them two lines up. And again, it's going to be 180 millimeters high also because it's a square. There we are. So I have to make them lines a little bit longer. And project it across to form a big square on the page. So we now know that all the information we need is going to be inside this square. Now what I'm going to do as well, you can see there's a series of 30 millimeter increments across the bottom. And project all of them up lightly also. So just nice and lightly up the page. Now, and the way to tell if you've been accurate with this is that from the center point here on the bottom line, if you draw a line up 45 degrees on either or both sides, it should be up 90 millimeters along the side as well. So it should be exactly halfway up along the side, which in this case it is. And we're just going to join them on up to the top there as well. So you can move the set square around to best suit yourself. Okay, so you can have it like this, or with the numbers along the bottom, or you can put the long edge along the bottom, because with the 45-degree set square, no matter what way you put it, you're going to have a 45-degree line there. Alright, what we can do now is we actually have part of the outline there, but what we want to do is we want to start drawing the H. So the H is contained within these two 30 millimeter lines. Okay, so the second one and the fifth one. And it tells us there that it is up 15 millimeters from the bottom. It's measuring up 15 millimeters and bringing a line across. Remember, this is all construction work for the time being. And it tells us it's down 15 millimeters from the top. Measure down 15 millimeters and another horizontal construction line. And again, it tells us from the center, so from this halfway point up here, we're going 15 millimeters either side, because the cross section of the H is 30 millimeters wide. So we're going 15 up and 15 down. Again, project them two lines across, and we should be ready to start drawing in the outline of the H now. What I'm just going to do before that is take the very halfway point and draw a horizontal line across as well, because we need that for the little angle that comes in at the H here. So I'm going to just go and start outlining my H. We come to this, the right hand side of the fifth section that we have along the bottom. Okay, and we can heavy in that side. And we know that it's 30 millimeters wide, so we're going to come back across to here. And we can bring it up to this point, because we know that from the center we come down 15, and that's where the cross section comes into play. So we're going to outline it just up to that point there. We're going to come across, so it's basically, once it hits the axis here, the bottom half is going to be completely symmetrical, which means that if you were to put a mirror here, it's going to look the exact same on this side. So we project a line horizontally across with our T-square to this point, and we're going to project it down the way again and over, and we can bring that up. We're just going to bring it up to the top of the diamond here for now, okay? Because we don't actually know exactly yet how high up it can go. But you can see there that this bottom half, okay, so everything below the set square, is completely symmetrical. So that means if you put a mirror down here, it would produce the mirror image on this side. Think of like a butterfly. A butterfly is perfectly symmetrical. Okay. At the top now, we can see on the H logo that there's a little bit of, I suppose, a tail, if you want, on the top of the right-hand pillar of the H, and it actually comes right across to the diamond. So it's coming across to this point here. Okay, so it's coming from the top of the H all the way across until it hits the 45-degree line from that diamond. And then it follows the 45-degree line back down to our 30mm vertical line. Where it goes from there, 15mm above the center line. So 15mm above this center line that we had drawn in earlier. And we can join it up to this side here again. So it's going back to the halfway. Sorry, it's not actually joining to this point, but we can join it back to halfway. Again, there's kind of a little cutout here. Again, because we're working with 45-degree angles, we know the angle that it's going to be at. We know it's going to be 45 degrees, and it's 45 degrees from this center point here. So from the center of the cross section, the halfway point of the cross section, we're coming out 45 degrees. From this point, we're projecting out 45 degrees until it touches this horizontal line here, and then we can join it all together like so. From there, okay, from this point, we're projecting it all the way up to the top. So up to this line where we've measured in 15, to the top of the H. Project it all the way up there. Now, the last thing we need is we need to find out so again, there's a tail like this one here over this side, but it doesn't give us any measurements for it. Okay? But we already know the measurements for it. We know the height from this side, from the right hand side. All we're going to do is take this point where the tail and the vertical pillar meet, and we're going to project it across. So bring it across to the outer left side of the H. And from there, again, we're using our 45-degree set square. We can project the line up until it comes in line with the top of the H. And we can continue the vertical edge, and then we just need to put the cap on the top. Once this is done, it's just a matter of finishing off the kind of outline, or the blue boxes that are on the drawing, okay? And the way they go is they're doing these diagonal 45-degree lines. So we have that one there, and that also goes up the way. So we have this line on top. We have the kind of medium blue line coming down to halfway, and then it goes up along the vertical center of the square. It's coming down here. Now we don't draw the heavy line through the H, okay? We're drawing it as far as the outer edge, and then skipping across the H and continuing it, okay? It doesn't go through the H. And then we have it going vertically up to the top. Again, making sure your T-square is nice and tight against the side of the board for the best accuracy. We have a slightly darker blue half diamond here as well on the left hand side. So again, we can go ahead and draw that in. So these are all 45-degree lines. And again, we are not bringing that outline through the H. Okay, notice how my heavy line stops and starts either side of the H. It does not go through it. Okay, and then all we have to do is the bottom left corner. and that is just a horizontal and a vertical line. And that is the drawing complete. So once you get that far, okay, you can grab a couple of pencils and we can start shading it in. So we can see there, the bottom is nice and heavy, a very nice dark blue. I want to keep it nice and neat now. Try and keep within the edges. Okay, a great way to keep within the edges, if you have a bit of masking tape, you could actually put it along the bottom. Okay, I'm going to try use the T-square to help me from going below the line. Alright, so this is just the final finishing touches of it. Okay, we have a slightly lighter shade up here. Okay, so just going slightly lighter along this surface. Okay, so you can see there how much lighter we're going. And you'll be able to do this much neater than me because you're not just under the same kind of a time restriction. And then we have our lighter shades here on this side. Now, my blues are not very different in colour, unfortunately. They're not very different at all, but you get the idea. And over here. And then the very last one, I'm going to just barely give it any shade at all. Now this can be done with any colours that you have, okay, or if you have just a normal pencil, that's fine, you'll still be able to make it work, okay, but just make sure you give it some kind of nice shade to finish it off. And once you've got it done, add in your couple of dimensions. Okay, I want you to add in 5 dimensions, which are any kind of measurements here. You can also include angles in that. Okay, so add in any 5 dimensions and just take a picture and upload it to the homework section of your class OneNote there. Alright.